Have you ever just stopped and wondered what's happening everywhere on the planet all at once on just a single day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are taking a global snapshot of one specific day, Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. It's a day of just unbelievable creation and, at the same time, devastating destruction. It's a day of protest, and it's a day of scientific breakthroughs. It's this wild mosaic of countless different realities, all happening in parallel. So, what does one 24-hour spin of our planet really look like? Come on, let's piece it together, starting with the one engine that truly never ever stops.
Long before the sun is even thinking about rising in one part of the world, the markets are already roaring to life somewhere else. The global machine of money, of industry, it is always on. And on this particular day, it is running hot.
So what you're looking at here, that's the price of a single ounce of gold. On this day, it is right up there, near a record high. And you might be asking, why does that matter? Well, think of a high gold price as a kind of global anxiety meter. When investors get nervous, say because of something like the US government shutdown that's going on, they pour money into gold for stability. It's our very first clue that just beneath the surface of the day, there's this current of real unease. But that anxiety? Oh, that is definitely not the whole story. Not even close. Over in Asia, tech markets are just exploding. And what's really fascinating here is the reason for it all, a massive deal involving OpenAI. I mean, look at that. The Kospi in South Korea shot up nearly 3%. This is a wave of pure, unadulterated technological optimism just washing over the entire global economy. And this gives you a sense of just how big that optimism is. The whole market surge is being driven by this vision from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman for a global network of AI data centers. We are not talking millions here or even billions. This project is expected to cost trillions of dollars. It needs a completely mind-boggling amount of chips and servers and power. It's literally a plan to build the infrastructure of tomorrow. And yet, on that exact same day, we get this. A really stark reminder of how fragile the infrastructure of today is. So while one part of the world is planning this multi-trillion-dollar tech future, a Russian drone strike cuts the power to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the site of the worst nuclear disaster in human history. The contrast is, wow, it is just jarring. And that contrast, that whiplash between creation and conflict, that is not an isolated incident. It really builds throughout the day, all over the world. On October 2nd, people are in the streets, they're in harm's way, and in some cases, they're just at a complete standstill. Just look at these three things happening in parallel. In the morning in England, there's a horrific, violent attack at a synagogue that leaves 2 people dead. That very same afternoon, the climate activist Greta Thunberg is detained by the Israeli military while she's on an aid flotilla trying to get humanitarian supplies to Gaza. And then, all the way across the Atlantic, the U.S. government is stuck in its second day of a total shutdown, bringing tons of federal services to a halt. You've got violence, activism, and political gridlock all unfolding at the exact same time. And the unrest doesn't even stop there. In Athens, Greece, the entire city is basically brought to a halt by a massive general strike. We're talking thousands of workers flooding the streets to protest a proposed labor law that could stretch the workday to 13 hours. So the big picture here is that this is a day of really deep, really widespread dissent. So with all this conflict happening, you kind of have to ask, wait, what are the rules here? While all those protesters are in the streets, you have diplomats and lawyers in the halls of power debating the very principles that are supposed to govern war and peace. And right at the heart of so many of these debates is this right here, Article 51 of the UN Charter. It's one of only 2 exceptions to the otherwise total ban on one country using force against another. It's the right to self-defense. Simple enough, right? But what does that actually mean? Well, that's where the world completely disagrees. This slide really shows you the fundamental split. Most of the world, a huge number of states, they believe you can only act in self-defense after an armed attack has already happened. But a smaller, very powerful group of countries argues that you can strike first, preemptively, if you think an attack is imminent. And let me tell you, that disagreement is one of the most intense and contentious issues in international law today. And while those legal battles are raging, diplomacy is still trying to move forward. On this day, there are big discussions happening around something called the New York Declaration. Just listen to the language here. A roadmap, Palestinian statehood, normalization. This is the hopeful sound, the careful language of international peacemaking at the absolute highest level.
But on the very same day that those words are being written and discussed, this is the reality on the ground. Over 65,000 people. That's the death toll in Gaza since the war began. It's a number that just puts all that slow, careful language of diplomacy into really, really painful perspective.
All right, so let's move away from the breaking minute-by-minute headlines for a second, because beyond the protests and the markets, other stories are coming to light. And these are the kinds of stories that aren't uncovered in a day, but over months of really deep investigative work by journalists. And on October 2nd, the news outlet ProPublica drops this absolute bombshell report. There's newly unsealed testimony, and for the very first time, it reveals that Elon Musk's SpaceX, one of the most critical U.S. military contractors, took money directly from Chinese investors. This is so much more than a business story. It raises huge questions about national security and foreign influence at the very highest levels.
So after a day of conflict and finance and these hidden revelations, let's end by taking a look toward the horizon, because October 2nd, it turns out, is also a day of incredible discovery, of remembrance, and of events that point directly to our shared future.
On this day, the world learns of the passing of a true icon, Jane Goodall. She's spent her entire life not just studying our amazing planet, but fighting for its future. Her legacy is just this powerful, powerful reminder of our connection to the natural world and our deep responsibility to protect it. And even as we mourn, human curiosity just keeps pushing us forward. On this one single day, scientists announced they've detected new organic substances on a moon of Saturn, a potential sign of life. They also revealed that the Red Sea, the entire thing, once completely disappeared. And they unveiled the world's first rechargeable hydride ion battery. It's this incredible cascade of knowledge, just expanding our understanding of the past, the present, and the future, all at once.
So what is October 2nd, 2025, when you put it all together? It's a day of trillion-dollar dreams and drone strikes. It's a day of protest and deep political division. It's a day we find the building blocks of life on a distant moon, and we mourn a giant here on Earth. It's one planet, one day, and just countless overlapping realities. And the question it really leaves us with is, which one of these stories, which one of these realities is going to be the one that defines our future?